Taking it to the house. Episode 2. We are, I guess, kind of a day late. Bryce Ghost Picks. Bryce Ghost Picks. Jimmy, what's going on, brother?
What's up, my man? How's it going?
Great. Well, normally, and from, kind of this point forward, this is your segment. This is your stuff. But we kind of hashed out things last night. We talked about it. First thing we need to do is promote your YouTube channel. For 2019, the whole entire Taking It to the House segment will be aired on Ghost Picks Jimmy's page. But don't forget to go follow along Ghost Picks Bryce, and I'll let him talk to you about where you can find him at.
Yeah, you can just find me on YouTube at Ghost Fix Bryce, and then I also have Instagram and Twitter up and rolling, and I'll include that in the description below. So make sure you give me guys a like, follow on both of those social media platforms. Put out some content daily.
Boom. All right. So as always, Wednesday and Saturday, and anything in between. If Bryce puts out anything, it will be aired on both channels. So guys, make sure you hit the thumbs up if you appreciate all the hard work and support we do. It's Sunday mid-evening, and we're still getting you guys free content and good insights for week 4, because me and Bryce have been breaking down week 4 of the preseason. There's a lot of great action, a lot of great content in this video also. But the main thing we want to talk about here prior to jumping into week 4, taking it to the house, is what Ghost Picks Bryce role and responsibility is on the Ghost Picks team right now. Okay, he's here to provide the best fantasy football, daily fantasy football, or seasonal fantasy football advice with all the everyone's about to enter all these season-long drafts, and your friends draft, and your season league over here, your DraftKings league over here, or your ESPN, NFL, whatever you got going on for fantasy football. Bryce is the expert, and Bryce, go ahead and run over some of the packages that you have available right there on the ghostpicksats.com website.
Yeah, if you hop over to ghostpicksats.com right now, we just released the draft class packages. We have the 30-minute one-on-one consultation with myself, where I break down DFS and what it actually means, the different contests, money management techniques for that, and then a Q&A. And like I said, it's 30 minutes. If it goes over, no big deal. And also over there under the draft class will be the live draft assistance with myself. So if you're in a season-long draft and you just want somebody to kind of be there for mental support or moral support, make sure you don't panic or make a mistake. It's $39.99, and I already had a couple guys reach out to me about that. I think I got a draft tomorrow night, so hop on both of those before they fill up, because they're going to.
Yeah, I want to give a special announcement to Karen. Not going to say her last name, but she reached out to me after, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I forget, evening. Bryce walked her pretty much through her entire draft, and got nothing but good feedback from that. And it was funny because I guess it was against her husband or whatever, and her husband was kind of in the same room or whatever. So it was a lot of fun. Got to help out. Bryce got to help out Karen, in just her regular fantasy football with her husband, family fun. And, she just didn't know where to go, didn't know what to do. She reached out to Bryce, paid what was the fee for that? The draft class fee? To actually live draft with you?
The live draft is $39.99.
$39.99. Bryce took out pretty much his entire evening to walk Karen through, hopefully, what will be a successful NFL fantasy football draft, between her and her husband, kind of little stuff going on. So big shouts out to Karen. And there was another person I helped, but I don't want to go too much into that. Just wanted to address that because, like I said, these packages are for everybody. It's not just for guys that are going to enter a league online. Karen reached out to us. She was in a $100 league with her husband and I guess the rest of her family or colleagues or whatever. And the number one thing she kept saying is, I just want to beat my husband. So big shouts out to Bryce for taking his time out and helping Karen walk through her NFL league.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it, Karen, and don't have any doubts about you beating your husband this year. You got a solid team.
If I'm not mistaken, you probably told her to take Cam Newton, but we won't go there.
We got a little Cam action.
Okay, so taking it to the house, episode 2. Again, Ghost Picks Bryce, Ghost Picks Jimmy. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are not subscribed. What we're going to talk about today, and we're going to hop right into some key injuries before we get into the real data, the real numbers we have going on here. I mean, heading into week 4 preseason, we have 7 teams without a win ATS. We're going to touch on that. And then we're also going to touch on the Andrew Luck stuff. It's sad. It's sad that Andrew Luck is going. He's a bit of a weirdo, if you really ask me. And we're going to hop right into probably the biggest injury of the 2019 preseason. Ghost Picks Bryce. Go ahead and lay into that for us. What do you think the biggest key injury so far of the preseason is?
You gotta look at Lamar Miller. I mean, after the reports came out today that he tore his ACL, he's out for the year. Likable guy. He always just goes in and does his job. He's not flashy, but he's always, the Texans offense can count on him. So it'll be interesting to see how Duke Johnson steps in and takes over that lead back role for sure.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it. Thank God they picked him up in the offseason. But poor Lamar Miller, man, he's just been having a terrible season or terrible career. He'll be good. He'll get injured. Everyone knows he's well. Then he went on that sorry-ass Texans offense, got some carries, was kind of a horse for a while, here and there, a couple years from Miami. Just tough career overall for Lamar Miller. So hopefully he has a speedy recovery and gets back at it. But for me, my biggest injury of the 2019 preseason is Andrew Luck. He's not injured, but you know what?
Oh, yeah.
He's the biggest loss. I really liked the Colts this year. I liked their season win totals over. They had, they were on the verge last year to +2 in the win column and -2 in the loss column. There some bad calls in overtime. They had a bright future ahead of them, and I think the entire team thought that. So obviously he wasn't injured, but definitely the whole takeover news feed of 2019 preseason. Andrew Luck and his weird self decides to retire. I've seen a couple Tom Brady posts like, Andrew Luck decides to retire after X amount of years in the NFL, and it was just like a smirking face of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He's just weird, man. I think he's just one of those kids that looks like he's got a lot of mental issues going on. Not mental issues, but he's like probably just combating himself in his head mentally. I think he could benefit from a year off. I think he'll find himself, and I truly think he'll be back in the NFL.
Yeah, I think he'll come back. Yeah, I think he'll come back.
Yeah. Like I said, I think he's such a competitor, such a nice guy that he wants to be healthy. And then, he's getting older and a new injury occurred. And he just needs to let the combatant go of the mental status, relax, drink a beer, come to it, get back on that practice field, and we'll see him in no time. I don't think he's done for forever. No doubt in my mind. Other than that, the only other big key injury I guess we could talk about here would be the Lions. They just lost one of their starting linebackers and their starting center. So, we're going to touch on Matt Patricia and his horrible preseason woes here, but losing a linebacker and a center definitely is not beneficial as a coach, not beneficial to the team, offense and defense starters going out. What do you think Matt Patricia's move is from here on out with preseason? You think he's going to take off the gas, or?
I think he's going to take off the gas, but first and foremost, he's going to have to find, a center. The center is the focal point of that offensive line. Without that, they're going to have a hard time running the ball. They're going to have a hard time protecting the quarterback. I mean, that's the first and foremost thing he's going to have to do. If you don't have that line centered, you're going to be in trouble. It's going to be a long season.
It's sad. It's sad. Nobody likes seeing people get hurt in the preseason. I mean, you remember Jordy Nelson one a few years ago? That was a key one. I mean, you can go on, and it's very sad to see some of these. I mean, your boy Cam Newton walks out in a boot, right?
Yep.
But it's troubling when these coaches say, okay, we're going to put him in for a quarter or two, and then their season's over for nothing, essentially. Do you have any Cam Newton news? Is he going to be all right? Any rumors?
Yeah, reports are right now that seen without a walking boot on today. So I think swelling's gone down. They should be ready to roll. I think he's going to get to go week 1. I wouldn't have any hesitations of picking him up next week in your drafts. I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah. I foresee Cam being fine. I mean, he walked out fine. It was just a walking boot. It wasn't an air cast. It wasn't something. It wasn't in crutches. So I think better be a little over.
Oh yeah, for sure. That move is just a preventative measure to keep slowing down his career. I think he's good to go.
Okay, great. I mean, I think that's what we got for the big rumor mills, the news, what we have going on for key injuries, where we're going to look ahead. And then right now I want to jump into, first of all, my preseason week 3, I went 4-0 in the NFL. I'm just going to say that. So when people say you can't make money in preseason in the NFL, I hit a red alert in the NFL preseason winner. My top play for preseason was this week. We had it, what was it? Saturday, was it Saturday or Friday? I'll tell you right now. It was, Thursday. We had the Ravens. Oh yeah, we had the Redskins over the Falcons. Top play in the NFL for 2019 preseason winner. So the preseason has been very successful on my side, and we're going to look to push that over here for week 4 with 2 big plays. And if you really pay attention to what we got as far as data and numbers coming up here in this next segment, you guys may or may not know where we're looking. Look aheads. Not going to say anything as far as official plays, nothing like that. We're just going to give you a lot of good data and stuff like that for you and your knowledge to be successful in preseason, because the numbers we have, Bryce, and the numbers we were just talking about are pretty serious that we got coming up in this segment.
Absolutely. Numbers don't lie, man. Numbers never lie.
Nope. With that being said, all packages can be found over at ghostpicksats.com. Remember, go follow Bryce on Twitter, ghostpicksbryce, Instagram, ghostpicksbryce, and YouTube, ghostpicksbryce. I'm sure I'm going to edit the video and put some tags over in here somewhere. But he will be labeled in his like white and black camera there that I will have him have his stuff labeled. Honestly, guys, go check him out. Go check everybody out in the Ghost Picks team. Big shouts out to Derek Dimes on a 16-9 top tier run, plus 37 units in the month of August. 1 big play a day if you guys are interested in that. So Big Jack and Big Benny, go check out everybody on the Ghost Picks team. And let's get right into your free kind of information here. So I want to start with the two big dogs of the preseason, okay? The Baltimore Ravens and the Minnesota Vikings here. Rolling into week 4, the Ravens are now 3-0 in preseason. We talked about it a little bit before here. 36-12 for the Baltimore Ravens. I believe that's the number 36-12. Yep, 36-12 for Harbaugh. 3-0 after. You check this out, man. What was it? Was it 16 in a row?
Yeah.
4, 8, and 8. Yeah, 16-0.
Unbelievable.
In the preseason.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable numbers. And I think it's like 16 or 16. I forget the ATS on that, but it's insane. I think there might be 2 losses ATS. That's not ATS, right? That's just straight up. Yeah.
Straight up. I'm looking at it right now. He's like in his career in the preseason, he's 32-15 ATS. That is insane. 68. You could blind bet that and make money.
32-15 ATS. I mean, that's sickening. This season, he's dominated the entire preseason. Obviously, he's 3-0. Hosting going into week 4. I think they're going to Washington. It really don't matter. But you know, their defense has been insane, and the preseason defense has been insane. Watching them play really opens up your eyes from. It's almost like they didn't miss a beat from 2018 right into 2019 preseason. And John Harbaugh knows what he's doing. He's prepping the Baltimore Ravens for war of 2019. I don't think teams are going to dominate teams like people think they're going to. And the Baltimore Ravens are a vicious, vicious team. 3-0, hosting the Washington, or going to Washington. Jay Gruden, 13-10 in the preseason, 1-2 this season. Ravens haven't lost since 2015. The number's going to be high, man. What do you think?
And I think with Baltimore, you're looking at a team that has an identity. They know who they are, and they're capitalized on it. I mean, they're not going out there and reinventing the wheel, so to speak. They know what they are, and they excel at it, and it's amazing. I mean, some coaches just want to win at all times, you know. Winning breeds winning, and that's a perfect example of that.
Do you agree with the preseason hype? Essentially, I mean, they go hard, man, and it's not just the starters; it's the backups. They're
Yeah,
hitting hard on defense. Um, the teams are barely getting to midfield on them.
I mean, you're looking at a team right now that, I mean, the coaching staff knows what they're looking at for the players, and really, it's a team that dominates the line of scrimmage. Even in preseason, you look at, a lot of people say preseason doesn't matter because they're not putting out schemes and stuff like that, and it's all vanilla. But fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter what kind of game it is, exhibition or the Super Bowl. If you control the line of scrimmage, that's something you can do. So, and that's what they do it all night long, all day long, week in and week out. I mean, that's what they do, and they're going to do it in the regular season, and they're not going to be a pushover for anybody, even with Lamar Jackson, the quarterback.
Yeah. Opening line for them -5 or -4 up to 5.5 now. Week 1 o'clock game, September 8th, going to Miami. Any thoughts on that? We have a low total sitting at 37.5. Obviously, Fitzmagic's going to be taking the whatever you want to call it for the Miami Dolphins offense, I guess they'll be called this year. But any thoughts on that initial? We're up to 5.5 now in most casinos. Anything on Baltimore's week 1 at Miami?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta give a slight edge to the Ravens, and the Ravens defense and special teams will be somebody I'm really going to be giving a look at week 1 as far as daily fantasy, because you got Fitzpatrick back there, and I mean, he could do anything he could go out there and throw 5 touchdowns, but he could just as easily go out there and throw 5 picks, especially a defense like that, and defense travels. I look for a defensive game for coming out of Baltimore for sure, creating some turnovers after Fitzpatrick. It could get ugly. I mean, it really could, especially if they control the line of scrimmage and run the ball. It could get ugly.
Yep. Slight movement to the over, which gives me the edge. I like Baltimore at -5 right now. Get it white, Ken. All right, going over to week 4, we have the Minnesota Vikings. They are playing the Bills, and they are 19-4 under Mike Zimmer since 2014. Check out these numbers for them preseason: 4-0, 4-1, 4-0, 2-2, 3-1, 2-0. That's a hell of a preseason number for any team, and they're going to Buffalo.
Yep.
I watched Buffalo's last game. I've tweeted. I bashed the quarterback. I don't like him. I think Gallen sucks. What's your thoughts on this? You think Minnesota? Did you watch the first half? I mean, it was ugly all around for the Vikings on offense. I think this is one of the big bounce back. It was my free play when they beat the Cardinals. But I just, going over to Buffalo. Buffalo is always crazy. Hey, Buffalo's 3-0 in the preseason as well. But what's your thoughts here? You think there's going to be a lot of points? I mean, obviously there's no numbers out to these games yet, but we're talking about the undefeated teams here in preseason. And we got the two going at it right now with Buffalo and Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, also like you said with Baltimore and John Harbaugh, Zimmer, he likes to win. I mean, he clearly shows with his preseason record. And if you go back and remember the last time the Vikings went to Buffalo, I think it was week 3 of last year, they got absolutely destroyed. They went in that game as a 14-point favorite, and Buffalo just straight took them to the woodshed and wore them out. And you might be looking at a little bit of a revenge spot here, even though it's preseason. I mean, stuff like that does matter. And I really like the Vikings quarterbacks a little bit better than I like the Bills quarterbacks as far as looking at backup standpoint. I mean, that's just where I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I'm going to have to stay away from this game. Kirk Cousins looked awful, and that was against Detroit's defense, Arizona's defense. And then on the flip side, talking a little bit about Allen, I really can't stand him. I never did. It's super hard to watch a Buffalo Bills game when they're on offense. I mean, I'm just looking over here. Something came back up on my thing about Lamar Miller, but watching Josh Allen, he was 6 for 11, 66 yards, 1st and 10 on the 10, nonstop runs, penalties, and then it's just runs. No trust in him. First quarter, he threw like 2 passes beyond 5 yards. One was intercepted. They called roughing the passer. wild, sporadic pass. Should have never did it. Cross shoulder. I just can't trust him. I'm going to stay away. I like the under. I don't care what the number is going to be, but you just got two defensive crazy teams here. And to be honest with you, the Lions should have scored a lot more. I think they missed 2 4th downs in the red zone instead of making field goals and stuff like that. But I was on the Bills that game, so thankfully they did win. But yeah, so let's keep going. Fade alerts. All right, fade alerts. We're 20 minutes in. Fade alerts. There's 7 teams that have not won a preseason game in 2019. We're going to talk about who they are, and then we'll go into what they got and if there's any value in week 4 for fading them. The number 1 team, guess who it is?
It's the Eagles.
Eagles have won a preseason game.
That's what you say. That's what you say. But have they?
Atlanta Falcons.
They're awful, man. Dan Quinn does not care about preseason whatsoever. He cares about going out there and putting the most vanilla thing out there on the field and taking care of the players. It's evident. He doesn't care, and that's fine. But I mean, we can take advantage of it. So.
Since 2017, he hasn't won. End of story. Hasn't won ATS this year. Is not going to win ATS this year. I truly don't care who they play. They got the Jags, who have also, I believe, have not won a preseason game this year. So I'll probably be riding Nick Foles and the Jaguars in that game. I've been winning money fading Atlanta preseason the entire year. Why stop now? All right, the Bears under Matt Nagy, 0-2, and they're going against the Titans, week 4. Any interest at all? Mind you, Nagy said Trubisky will not play preseason.
Oh yeah, I mean he hasn't played all preseason, and they haven't put a lot of Montgomery out there. Cohen hasn't played a lot. Miller hasn't played a lot. Basically all their starters, all their offensive weapons have not played pretty much any, if at all. And I think with the Titans, you might want to give the Titans a lean right there, just because there's going to be a lot of guys trying to make that roster. I think the Bears pretty much have the team they're going to have, but the Titans is trying to fill out a few more spots, and they do have a little bit better of a backup quarterback situation. I'm not a big Chase Daniel fan, and that's who the Bears are going to be rolling with. Obviously, with the Titans, you got Tannehill, and then I don't know who the third string quarterback is.
Woodside. I believe it's Woodside.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you got to like that situation a little bit better than the Bears. Just a small lean on the Titans. We'll see what the line comes out at.
Yeah, hey, man, we're at the part right now where the Tennessee Titans are finding their identity. There's rumor mill, Is Tannehill a better quarterback than Mariota? I would say, yeah.
I think he is. I think that's a very interesting situation that they brought Tannehill in. I'm really curious to see how Mariota is going to play in the regular season. Is he going to go out there and, is he going to light a fire under him? Is he going to go out there and play hard? Or is he going to say, you know what, I have a competent backup behind me, and that pressure gets to him? I mean, because he's been hit or miss through his career so far. So it's really going to be interesting to see what Mariota does this season. And I actually have a future bet on the Titans, so I'm going to pay close attention to that for sure.
Nice. Okay, we talked about this here, and if you're not listening to the segment, listen to the segment. Detroit Lions, obviously 0-3 preseason 2019, lost their starting linebacker and their center last week at Buffalo or at home. Lions are traveling to Cleveland, and they're 0-1 on the road, the Lions, and the Browns are 1-0 preseason this year at home. Is there value? I don't know if Baker's going to play. I'm assuming he will. I haven't heard anything. However, what's the value here with Detroit Lions? They were going for it on 4th down multiple times in the red zone. They didn't care about kicking field goals. I don't know what the number is going to be. I'm going to assume it's going to be at least 4 or 5. What's your thoughts here with Matt Patricia not winning a game, going to Cleveland, losing both key starters on both sides of the ball?
I think that you got a very good chance at seeing a game that might get ugly. You got Freddie Kitchens, he's 2-0 obviously in his first career preseason at Cleveland, and what he's trying to do is build a winning culture in Cleveland. Rolling back from last year, he want to keep it rolling. That's why they're winning right now in the preseason. It matters. Winning breeds winning. And on the flip side, with you got the Lions, like I mentioned earlier, their center went down, so I figure like to see a lot of different offensive line rotations in that game, and that might give Cleveland's defense a lot of opportunity to get in the backfield and cause a lot of problems, even with backups in there. And I just look for the Browns to wreak havoc on that offensive line, honestly.
All right. The other team that is over is the Colts. Frank Reich, 0-3, got a lot of trouble going on. Going over to Cleveland Cincinnati.
Right.
I don't even know what to think about this game. I don't know how serious they're going to take it. Who the hell is going to play? Why they're going to play? Are the receivers bummed out? I don't know. I'm definitely staying away. Cincinnati's 1-2 this year. They're nothing to go home and brag about either. But any thoughts on that game at all?
I think that's probably a stay away game from a betting standpoint for myself. But as far as a fantasy standpoint, it's one that I'm going to keep close eye on, especially leading up to the game, just to see how much they are going to play Brissett, if they're going to play any receivers. Because week one,
Bryce, you cut off.
within 4, and they've won games. But it'll be interesting to see who plays and how much for the Colts week 4, because I expect the starters to play at least a series or two, just because of the situation they've now found themselves in.
Good. We had technical difficulties. You did cut out for a little bit, but that's all right. Yeah, no big deal. But we're good to go. We're rolling here. I think that's pretty much it. We talked about the Falcons. We talked about the Jaguars. They're playing each other, but we'll probably lean with the Jags there. Ravens have been the most dominant thing in the preseason for a very long time. Dominant team. Who else did we not bring up yet? That is for the Chargers. They go to 3-0 49ers, and 49ers still trying to find their identity. Garoppolo. They have a lot of good quarterbacks on that team with experience, starting experience.
Yes.
So I would lean towards the 49ers in that matchup. We'll see. We'll wait to see what we got going on for there. But other than that, we just wanted to talk on the kind of the duds there for preseason. Give you a little insight on where the two kind of key bets are that you could probably easily make. Talked about Cam Newton, Lamar Miller, obviously Andrew Luck. And then we kind of failed to mention this, but Doug Martin.
Yes.
Raiders.
Just got released. Obviously, who knows what was going on there. I expected them to keep them around, keep Doug Martin around to help, mentor young running back Josh Jacobs, the rookie out of Alabama. Who knows what was going on in the locker room there. Maybe Doug Martin just didn't want to be that role, or maybe the Raiders feel confident in Josh Jacobs, entering the season without him. And so – gonna be interesting to see, but I think he's a 3-down running back. So I'm gonna watch his ADP over the next week before I hit my drafts next weekend. Definitely gonna be that guy I have my eye on for sure.
Perfect. Isaiah Crowell went down with the Achilles injury. Doug Martin was there. I don't know what Jacobs got a big year ahead of him in Oakland, and we know Gruden likes to run the ball, so you better be ready for some touches. All right, that's all we got for episode 2, taking it to the house. Thanks for Bryce. Bryce, before we go off, we want to talk about the 2-point conversion. Rumor mill is that you actually have a 2-point conversion play, which is $9.99 for week 4 preseason. They are proposition bets that will be going from week 1 all the way to the Super Bowl, one big play a week, the best prop bet of the day, and why we have this 2-point conversion, which is on the Taking It to the House page on the ghostpicksats.com website, is because Bryce pretty much handicaps these games. He dives in, and I'll let you kind of finish off why we came up with the 2-point conversion. That big prop bet of the week. Kind of explain that for the viewers.
Yeah, with daily fantasy, obviously, like you said, I do handicap all these games, and I find value where I can. And there's a lot of prop bets out there for NFL, and there's a lot of value in numbers for the prop bets because it's not a bet that a lot of people take. So it's just a lot of times it's just a random number thrown out there, that's some computer generated, and we can capitalize on that. So I look forward to giving out the prop bet, once a week, the 2-point conversion play. I do have one coming up this week 4. Uh, it's looking good. Hopefully we hit it. And for everybody that stayed tuned with us this long, if you're still listening, I'm going to give you a free future prop right now. Take Juju to lead the league in receiving yards this year at 14-1. You just throw like a half a unit or whatever you want to throw on it. 14-1 to lead the league in receiving yards. It's a pretty good prop. I think with the departure of Antonio Brown, that's 100 and some targets gone, but at least 150 targets gone. 100 touches eradicated from that offense. They're all not going to Connor, and Juju's going to step up and fill that role for AB. I have no doubt about it. Take that 14-1 prop for Juju to lead the league in receiving yards. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't catch that one. Big Ben, we all know Tomlin will throw the ball.
He's going to sling it.
So I'm with it. 14-1 Juju. I'm going to lay a little bit of cash on that. That's a great prop bet. Great value. That's what you call a smart, sharp play. Value play right there. The number one. Yep. Good play. Yeah. And then also week 4, I know you were talking about the write-up already. You will have a 2-point conversion, except it's going to probably be an actual write-up for a play. One of the week 4 preseason games. We're still waiting on the Lions, and if it comes out, we will release, your entire write-up on the 2-point conversion. $9.99. It'll be your best prop, or it'll be your best play for the week 4 slate of NFL, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. Just jump over to the website and get that $9.99 best bet of the week for myself, and we're gonna cash some tickets.
That's all I got, Bryce. Thanks for everything. We'll be looking forward to Wednesday when Taking It to the House episode 3 airs out. Kind of prepping up any key injuries, news that we have for the week 4 preseason, or anything to help any of these guys in their fantasy. Make sure you guys go over to ghostpicksats.com, find the fantasy football Taking It to the House page. Let Bryce help you in your fantasy league. Let Bryce help you, teach you what DFS is, whether it's season long or whether it's just daily fantasy. Grab an appointment, get linked up, and let us do the work for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Hop on. Like I said, those consultations are going to fill up fast, and you're not going to want to miss out.
All right, guys. Thank you, and good luck. God bless. Grind on, baby.